Fun today talking about heated rivalry. Of course, with our therapist's hat on.
Of
Therapist
course.
hats on. Yes. Yeah, because like what's happening? Like it's been such a huge show. I mean, I don't actually think I remember any show being talked about and people rewatching it like over and over and over again, right? I mean,
hmm
kind of it's sort of a phenomenon.
Yes, and it came out of nowhere. It was, I think, a licensed Canadian show on HBO, and there was like little to no marketing, and yet it found such a huge audience so quickly. I'm like, it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's HBO. It's not Netflix. I feel like HBO wouldn't have as many subscribers as Netflix. So people are
hmm
like borrowing people's HBO.
hmm
All kinds of things are happening. So let's maybe touch upon why. First of all, like why is this such a big thing right now? What do you think it is about the
Mm.
show that's making it so big?
I'm sure there's many things. The first thing that's coming to my mind is like, we needed this. A
Yeah.
lot of us needed this. There's something about this romance, this like, complicated but simplistic in a way kind of storyline. It's a romance novel
Yeah.
at its heart.
Yeah.
And in our day and age of like, violence and, so much to, people feeling awful and, the polarizing media that we're seeing, like this is something that like so many people gravitated to. And it's interesting. I have some clients who read romance novels before it was cool. And a lot of what I'm finding of what draws people to these storylines is like, them having some sort of numbness that they're feeling in our everyday world because of, what we're being fed by the news and the media, again, the
Yeah.
violence and politics. There's something about these storylines that like allow accesses something animal and sweet and sexy, and I think people really need that right now.
I do too. I do too. And I mean, I think psychologically too, the combination of it being like so hot, but also so kind and loving. I mean, in the sex
Mm.
scenes, there's so much kind of like kind consent happening that is such a turn on. And
Mhm.
but also I think another aspect of what makes the story grab is because they have to be in secret.
Mm.
And we don't like any queers feeling like they have to be in secret, but they have a specific, you know, there's no denying that doing something in secret can make it even hotter, right?
Mhm.
It's like this is just for you and me, and nobody needs to know about. So I think it also touches on that we have this, and maybe this is a little bit of our shadow self, or maybe it's right out front in our everyday self, like this kind of secret thing, right?
Yeah, I love that you're bringing in like the shadow self, because I think a lot of people in the past, or like my understanding of people's relationship with these romance novels, have been a little in private or almost like to
Yeah.
themselves.
Yes.
This is creating community around this type of
Yes.
secrecy and sex and excitement. That's so interesting to see that it's coming into the light now. And like, what does that do?
Yeah. Totally. I mean, I cannot speak to you mentioned something to me earlier about
Hmm.
how it was depicting gay sex. And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, I've heard through some folks in the media, some gay or queer men in media talking about the series and how it maybe misrepresents gay sex. Um, And yeah, sure, there is maybe some of that that is definitely misrepresented. Um, it's not realistic, maybe, in how it's portrayed. But I also feel like, straight romance and sex has been misrepresented in media forever.
Yes.
Like the simplicity of it, or the female orgasm, or men just being able to be erect and hard at a whim at any moment.
Yes.
And so I'm like, great, lump us in with this misrepresentation, and we're getting the same treatment. I love it.
Oh, that's exactly right. Why? Because it's a queer story. Why does it have to be so exactly authentic in every way? And you know what? Maybe it is. Maybe if these two people were real, maybe it would be authentic. Like we don't know, right? But
Right.
I do get what you're saying, um, because I've never had that particular kind of gay sex. I don't know, but I I loved it. I mean, identifying as a woman, as a lesbian, I think queer sex is just hot anyway. Um, and I think a lot of people do, but I'm so interested in the crossover to straight women. And I kind of wish I could get inside their heads. And one of the things that I'm thinking of straight people in general when they're watching this, because it's done so beautifully and is very romantic and it's like easy to swallow. I think it's like enabling people to go, oh, queer is okay. That looks nice.
Hmm.
Oh, that's sort of hot. Yay. I mean, I think that I think a lot of people that are watching this have probably never seen a lot of gay sex. And I love it. I don't care if it's like completely what every gay couple is doing. I don't really care about that. I like
Hmm.
this kind of widening the door to what different experiences can look like, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's something so destigmatizing in this.
Yeah.
Growing up, I didn't get to see gay queer sex in media. So I got to see a lot of cis straight, sex in media, and that was hot too. Like sex can be hot, and I love. So I could identify in that some way, but I love that now the tables have turned a little bit, and now some folks in the straight community are,
Yeah.
kind of identifying with this queer sex, and I'm like, oh, as to your point, like, oh, this is beautiful too. This is
Yeah.
something that I can really get into, and it's in a way it's relatable. It's
Yeah.
sex. It's sex. Doesn't matter the genders involved.
It doesn't really. I mean, it really doesn't. Although I don't know if anybody else thinks this. I think another reason that is kind of pleasurable to watch, like as you say, like misrepresentation of especially women in sex on screen, right? It's like he comes in, they start making out, he puts her up on the kitchen counter and she's having an orgasm. And I
Hmm.
find that just insulting and boring and not sexy at all.
Hmm.
But I also think I also understand, like, if I was a filmmaker, perhaps the length of time that it can take for a female to have an orgasm. It's like you got to keep the movie going, right? So I think that there's something about seeing two men. Now, men can also have different experiences with their erections, with their
Hmm.
what's happening, psychologically, physically, whatever. But we have this collective idea that men can get it up easier and get off easier. We have this idea, and
Hmm.
when I'm watching it, I'm thinking that looks so fucking easy.
Hmm.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
that. So it's just candy, but it looks so easy in a way that I can buy. Whereas the straight sex scenes, I really can't buy, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think with some gay men, it is that easy. But of course, for some people, it's not.
Yeah,
And it takes longer to arrive at climax, or they feel like they climax too quickly. And maybe we see a little bit of that in the show too, if I'm
yeah,
remembering correctly, like quick climaxing
yes,
that maybe can bring shame on somebody.
Totally.
Um, but the way it's handled in the show, I think to your point, it's beautiful. It's handled well. It's the kindness between them. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, so so sweet. I wouldn't say that I worry, but I do see, on social stuff, people watching it like 8 times, and so I think you can get a little bit obsessive, and I'm curious, like if you had a client, Garrett, that was just so obsessed with it and watching it
Mhm.
over and over. I mean, what might you think, or what might you say to them about what's going on?
Yeah, I think I'd be curious. That would be my first way into that conversation about what it is that they are getting from the repeat watches. Like what feelings are coming up for them?
Yeah,
What are the things that they feel like they need to continuously feel here and explore from there and like,
yeah,
okay, what is that? Is that something that's missing from your life? Is there
yes.
another place to
Garrett,
find
the
that?
answer is yes.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So I'm asking you this question, and you're answering. I'm like, well, yes, duh. I mean, it's like changing the channel on your whole life, for that period of time you're watching. You kind of get to be really in this other
Mm.
lovely place,
Hmm.
which feels very alive and is like just checking all the boxes, right? And because you can just rewatch and you don't have to pay to rewatch, like it's right there. But this could be this, we could also be talking about, you know, drinking or any sort of substance or over shopping or, so
Hmm.
there is that aspect. Like how is your are you really not doing other things that you're supposed to be doing? Like
Yeah.
on the inside, is your repeat watching of Heated Rivalry starting to make your internal world feel a little less, you know,
Mm.
good?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any last thoughts about the show? And are you going to watch again? And how many times have you seen it?
I almost feel ashamed that I've only watched it once.
Wow.
My husband, on the other hand, maybe a few times,
Yes.
maybe a few times.
Yes.
Um, I am, I don't know. I'm really excited. I'm also excited for the queer actors coming out of it and their quick rise to fame and the embrace from Hollywood. Like they were, presenting at the Golden Globes the other night. And that makes me happy. I love to see the rise of other queer artists so quickly.
Yeah.
I'm excited for what comes next, and I hope there's just more support and community that builds from this.
Yes. Yes. Yay. Like just yay queer stories being done really well. Right.
Yeah,
I love it. Garrett, thanks so much for taking this time with me.
of course. Thanks, Megan.